not too many. The SARS is moving to move them to electronic payments, but also we feel that the post office did play a critical role in providing a communication source for disadvantaged communities. We think if it's revived, it can once again play that role, albeit in a new format.
What are some of the grievances does COSATU have regarding the treatment of post office employees, including salary cut and the mismanagement of the organizations?
Yeah, it's been quite a tragedy. The post office workers are not responsible for the collapse of the post office. They're not the ones who mismanaged it, who didn't invest in its infrastructure, who didn't adjust it to the changing nature of communication in the postal services. That's a managerial failure. Yet postal workers have been sitting for months at a time, not getting the salaries, not getting the pension or medical aids paid. We've had many workers sitting at time not even getting paid. And at the same time, the post office has moved towards retrenching workers. They plan to cut about 6,000. Already about 1,000 have already resigned out of sheer frustration, not getting paid. And so it's very stressful for these workers. These are low-income workers struggling to take care of their families, and yet they really feel they have been let down by management and they've been thrown under the bus.
Does COSATU intend to collaborate with other stakeholders such as government officials and business leaders to find a resolution to this matter that protects the interest of its members?
We have been meeting with the ministers of communications and labor. We have been working with our affiliate, the Communication Workers Union. We have also requested meetings with the post office management, but of course, right now they're under business rescue. So we have had some contact with them about seeing if we can do an intervention. And we have also met with both the portfolio and the select committee on communications at Parliament to see what can be done to save the post office, to make sure workers are paid, and to look at how we can avoid retrenching 6,000 workers in an economy of a 41% unemployment rate.
How does COSATU now propose addressing the pending retrenchments of 6,000 postal workers and the issues surrounding back pay and medical aid contributions?
So, I mean, the post office is in trouble because it hasn't adjusted with changes in the communication sector. People no longer normally send letters. They do WhatsApp, they do emails, or they do SMSs and so forth. So the post office needs to adjust to that. It needs to move to the courier sector, where people will still need to send, parcels and so forth. You can see the private courier business are doing very well. It does need some support from government to recapitalize, to pay off its debts, and to assist it to reposition itself. It needs competent management, but it needs to maintain its footprint because that's what gives it access to communities. If it simply shrinks and walks away, it'll lose all its customers. So I think for us, it has the potential. Parliament is currently processing the Post Office Amendment Bill, which is going to enable it to offer an expanded scope of goods, including courier services to communities, and also to enable it to become a multi-purpose contact point to access government services. So that can be quite useful, that if you're going to go and apply for your ID or your social grant, if you're going to go and apply for SME funding, if you can use it as a hub to support SMEs, then it can have a new lease of life. But if it continue as is, it won't survive.
One important factor that has been mentioned in this is the division of post office and post bank. In what way does COSATU think the government should compensate for this division with the post office, and what role should the business rescue practitioners play in addressing this challenge?
Yeah, so it's a legal requirement for the Reserve Bank and the banking laws for the post bank to be legally separated from the post office. So that has been done. The Parliament has passed the law, the President has signed it. So it does need some support to enable them, both of them, to survive, to separate it. But the Post Bank Amendment Act provides basically for the post bank to become a fully fledged state commercial bank. We think it's going to be quite useful, and it offers to bring competition into the banking sector, which often being dominated by monopolistic behavior. It offers a commercial bank for indigent, for poor communities who are often redlined by commercial banks. So for us, it's quite useful, but we need to see the state, whether it's departments or SOEs or entities or municipalities, using the post office and the post bank for their courier services, the banking services. If they do that, it will enable them both to survive.
Before we let you go, Mr. Parks, what message does COSATU have for post office employees who may be feeling uncertain or anxious about their future job security in light of these closures?
it is quite stressful for them. They've been through unbelievable circumstances. It's quite scary, but we're confident we can manage to turn it around. But it requires the business rescue practitioners to engage in good faith. It requires government to give us support. If these can be done, we can turn the situation around. But if they don't engage, then it's going to be very, very scary.
Lastly, Mr. Tau, looking ahead, what are COSATU's next steps in addressing the closure of post office branches and supporting its members through this challenging time?
We've requested an urgent meeting with the business rescue practitioners who are currently managing the post office and the ministers of post communications, as well as the minister of labour, to see if we can intervene to stop this pending bloodbath, because right now it's before CCMA. We've been engaging with them for quite some time, and we're hoping, and there has been some positive indications that they could look at reducing the number of retrenchments. So that will be possible if we can save some jobs, but ideally we really want to save all 6,000 jobs.
Mr. Parks, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Kanti lo mphulaphuli besincokola naye ngobuxhakaxhaka bethu bale mihla nguye uMatthew Parks osisithethi seCOSATU ke sixelela ke ngokuvalwa kwe-post office ezifikelela phaa kuma-235 235 loo nto leyo eza kuthi ke ichaphazela abasebenzi abafikelela phaa ku-6,000. Usithathele ke uMr Parks wasibeka phaa kwemizuzu masiyenze thina mphulaphuli ibe lithoba phambi koba sithi sifikelela esiphelweni senkqubo-ndaba yethu, phambi koba sithi licala emveni kwayo intsimbi yeshumi elinesibini. Benze ongazenzisiye umbulelo abantu basemdibaniso ngokunyaniseka kukasodolophu wesithili Chrisano Councillor Lusanda Sizani kwisithembiso sokuzisa izindlu zangasese kuluntu lwasemdibaniso. Intatheli yalijele uzimazamba ndenzele